you have been to multiple events, right? So what we were thinking about this is, we have spoken about multiple technologies today. Like Vikas was covering about hyperconvergence. Where exactly this hyperconvergence is going to touch the basic human requirement, right? How it is going to impact the basic man or the users, which is being the building block of any organization. So when I was talking to these gentlemen, in back of the stage, I was so surprised. Have you ever thought of that now? Uh, Equipment will have IoT installed up to the level where its rotation speed of a fan will get monitored by a small chip installed into the fan. A human face recognition will help to identify that he is not well. Today he is overstressed. So we should not be putting him in a job because it is risk to the organization. Hope you are understanding what I am trying to say. This is the technology impact which we want to our human lives. I am too tired today. I am applying for a leave. Probably I have a lot of things to do, and my leave get approved, not get approved. It is completely dependent on multiple factors. But when there is a dashboard, I will not be productive today. What my organization is going to do with my productivity in case if I am still physically present there and mentally I am not there. So analytics and the technology which we are talking today, how it is going to impact our daily life, we are going to discuss with these distinguished panelists. So I will not talk about the technology piece. I will just come to the basic requirement, why we required this transformation to happen and what was the need. And second thing which we will try to drive out of this panel discussion is, who does that, who required the change? Is it the business or the IT? The business is imposing it to the IT that, hey man, you require these things to be done, and finally what happens? We are just running behind to do that change. Or it is IT is standing to the business, we have these innovative ideas, we can transform our company, give us our leeway so that we can transform that. So with this, I'll start my discussion. So thank you very much all distinguished panelists. I will take a very different approach to this panel discussion. All of you have been a leader into your respective organizations. If you can just take one transformation to all our guests here, which can really help them in terms of understanding where technology can really impact your business and the end users, which really is one of the building pillar for your organizations. I'll start with Mr. Ayer. If you can just take one quick minute, and I will request if both of I think Kapil, if you can pick that. So we will be saving time in terms of rotating the mic. So these two mic is for you, and these two mic is for two guests, right? So you have to share that mic. So if you can just think about any transformation which you have done in your organizations, which has really impacted the end users and one simple employee in organizations, which has really contributed in a big way to your organization. If you can start with that.
Good evening. Before I go into that, I want to answer one of the questions which you asked. Whether the business is putting pressure on IT or IT is suggesting. It's not one way, it has to be two way. There are instances that businesses put pressure on us, and there are cases where we have contributed. Just understanding the problem statement and then. But the case which I am going to explain is more towards business demanding the solution from IT. We failed in the beginning 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times when we tried to give a solution. It was not user friendly, or it is not the way the business wanted. We have a business called Steel Service Center. It is nothing but a center where we procure the coil and then subsequently cut into required piece length. This is a process. We call it a Steel Service Center, where a huge amount of steel comes in and goes out. In the whole of the process, what are all the problem statements we understand? Problem number one is when we were trying to do a physical check of the stock availability, the time which used to take used to be somewhere between 36 to 48 hours, because in a month we are bringing in 15,000 tons inside and then process it and send it out. Number two, we wanted to ensure the FIFO process is deployed so that being a steel, we wanted to ensure that what we procure first should get consumed so that wastage is reduced. And the third problem statement was if I am giving the output to my customer, if anything goes bad, how to trace who has supplied the material for me or which line produced the supplied goods to the customer. These are the problem statements. And based on that, we could, this is one of the very barcode based project which we have done. And not only this has improved the efficiency of the employee, we could eliminate some of the processes to be more specific. We ensure that a system goes to the end user instead of end user coming and taking doing the work in the workstation or so we using the barcode and the barcode scanner come computer
Install into this.
yeah, we could this is one of the reduction in stock taking time reduced from 36 hours to 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
And FIFO, this is what they wanted because they wanted to ensure that what is procured first should get consumed. Otherwise, they have a provision that it is not being used. I can sell it out.
So FIFO will be like first in, first out should be going outside, right?
It could get produced. When I am trying to issue to the production, I will not let the latest procured item to get into
The process.
consumed. So these are all the business problem which we could solve, which is really over and above in the same plant we could make it weighbridge automation, which is eliminated some of the processes so that the so-called business, I should not say this, but business has got doubt on the people who are actually performing the job. We could eliminate that particular process by automation so that management ensure what is being sold is billed to the customer. So this is one of the very good examples.
Thank you very much for sharing it. So what I could make it out of this is like more of a waste management, more of a efficiency brought in into the employees, and efficiency brought in terms of my investment which is being done in terms of the product produced at the end, right? These are the three artifacts which you
can
probably
say anything. The problem statement is getting resolved the way they wanted. We failed because earlier when we were trying to make things happen, entry we had different landscape. We were providing solution and the same data has to be entered twice. Those things because why we failed earlier. And subsequently, the solution which we have given really improved the business.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Iyer. My question back to Sagar. I think you might be having a lot of transformation projects. Any project, and I'm sorry I'm putting it across without having the discussion. Have you failed in any of the project? I'm sorry, I'm putting it this very straight. But why I'm asking this question is so that how come these guests will get the gist of that? The failure is not a option today. You have to try. If you are not trying, you are losing something. So, what was the outcome of that failure in terms of preparing yourself better for the next time, or it is not to take any change so that you know that you might be failing in this? How you handle this piece as a CIO? I'm sorry, it was a tough question.
No. Absolutely dot on because that's the need of the day and that's the question. In the rapidly changing industrial scenario and the rapidly changing technological innovations, we see that what has been ready and available yesterday is no longer relevant today.
Precisely.
Yeah. And if we see about the innovations, VHF over to Beta, the technology, though much superior, invented from Japan, went out of there. Similarly, if you look at the likes of Telegram or WhatsApp became more popular rather than Telegram and similar applications. So yes, I did come across many failures when we were trying out certain experiments or pilots specifically when we were trying to find out solution on a way how we can figure out. It is as simple as an optical character reading exercise, like an OCR. So in a OCR, typically for our business, most of the circulars come in Hindi language, and they come as an image or as a fax, not as a PDF, not machine readable. And when we pose this problem to many of the technology partners, the information was not legible, not visible to the people, nor people could make sense of it. The business was struggling, going to Google Translate and trying to type out, because they have to make sense of what has been written there and again respond back. So we failed with couple of partners, but we took it in our stride. Ultimately, we did achieve recently a pilot success with about 70% of deep learning and machine learning, which is so far unsupervised. Now we are taking it to the next stage. Now we have shown this success to the business that yes, now we have about 70% of success unsupervised. Now we can make it 100% successful with supervised methods supporting it, because it is very critical that there are no hassles, or it is 100% accurate in the translation or transliteration aspect, because it is bidirectional, both Hindi to English as well as English to Hindi. This is one case which I can tell you. And another one, we were trying drones for our survey in our mines, and when we were trying drones, the first drone which we were trying to fly, drones are pretty much successful globally, and there are many like Precision Hawk, and you have other makers which are fixed wing or quad core drones which have been successful globally. And when we did try it, for an unknown reason, the drone just collapsed from hundreds of meters down, and it was just a technical glitch. But we were lucky that there were no incidents out of that. But now today, successfully we are carrying out drone survey, not only to capture the land use pattern change, but also to capture the digital elevation model to create that out of the drone image.
Thank you very much. So it's machine learning and artificial intelligence which happens to be very, very key factor for this transformation.
Yes.
And what I could make it out is change is always, it's inevitable, right? You have to do it. Don't worry about in terms of failure. So that is the crux of the discussion. Have you seen? All of us have seen this very, very peculiar, funny use case in India, where we use in India drones. See, we used to capture groom and bride and the Punjabi dance on the screen. That is one of the use case for drones. You agree? But what is the right use case which we are talking right now is that I can really, really recognize a user, an employee, how he is working, right? I'm just giving the use case how industry has been using, and Adani Group is using that in terms of finding it what exactly is the right mines, what is the right constitute of that particular land, so that effective use of my man hours, effective use of my productivity can be calculated before even doing that. Is my understanding correct?
Currently, we are managing it for more of land use pattern change, but in the advanced countries, we have seen even production monitoring, etc., everything happening directly through drone, and the direct link is established that the drone pumps all the imagery to the control room and shows us the productivity of the shovels and the dumpers which are operating over there.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this insight. So now I'll request Kapil. All this transformation, do you feel that it can be fought alone, or a partner is going to really, really play a vital role? And in any of the transformation, what you feel that partner like Sify, technology like Nutanix, it has really, really helped organizations. You might not have used that technology, but from your experience perspective, you have been into the multi organizations, you have handled so many of global projects. What do you feel that partner in technology, where exactly they fit in into this, and how they can be a constitute in terms of the success of that project? What is your thought on this?
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I represent Safe Express. So we are a logistics company, B2B logistics company. So coming back to the question, so I think so being a CIO right now to being a part of services industry as a part of IBM Global Services, I've seen both worlds, and I think strategic partnership is what we used to do probably a decade earlier, and even still globally. But in India, it's becoming more and more rampant now. And I think most of the organizations that want to tread on the transformational path would need strategic partners, especially if you are not a technology company in the core, right? So, for example, we are logistics now, technology, and we say that we are a technology company to an extent because the sector itself is transforming in India. So it's really important that we use a lot of the emerging tech. So we are working on blockchain, we are working on MI, we are working on overall using AI in whatever places we can. We are doing a lot of work around image and face recognition to kind of do that on our packages as they move across the shipment hubs. And everywhere we're using technology partners in a strategic with a strategic intent. For example, for space recognition, we are working with Google closely. We're working with IBM Watson platform to see how those capabilities could be brought in. The other challenge or the other way that we're trying to tackle this problem is to keep a part of the core engineering in-house, which I think is important from a strategic perspective. So from that objective in mind, we have created an in-house innovation lab, which is a team of the new technology folks that just work on innovation and new solutions. So there has to be a divide today, because then you have your current processes and systems that are running that need to run because business needs to happen, and then you need to constantly innovate. And for that innovation to happen, and without really increasing your footprint and really hiring the right talent, because hiring a talent becomes a problem. It was a problem when I was in IBM. It's a problem. It's a bigger problem now because today the folks, the expectation levels are different, and it's very difficult to curtail them. And all these technologies have a gestation period of at least 6 to 12 months when the folks get productive, and by that time they put down the paper. So that's a different angle or problem to tackle. But I think it has to be a mix of both. And as I said, so strategic partnership is really important. In our organization, of lately we stopped using the term vendor. We say you are a partner, because you are eventually a partner to our success journey, because you bring in that expertise. So I think it's important that you forge those ties with your partners, and then partners actually help you accelerate and become your extended think tank in a way. And with a lot of companies, including IBM, we run our center of excellence. So there's a lot of global insight that we bring in within the organization from people across the globe. We do similar exercises with Sify as well, where we are very much connected at the top, and we try to see what are the things that they are bringing into picture and we can use. So I think that's really important. For you to scale up, you need to have those ties. We work with a lot of startups as well, but again, the success rate there is a little low for known reasons. So it's important that you pick up your key strategic players, and it's important that you pick up players that are scalable, that are actually creating solutions that are scalable, right? And that have the depth of knowledge for them to sustain you over a longer relationship period. Because I feel that with most of our partners, the actual throughputs or actual productivity starts coming in once they start understanding our business, which typically takes close to 6 to 10 months of time. And that's where they start becoming more of a partner that could impart certain valuable inputs. Otherwise, it's mostly a one-way information street where we are telling them what to do. And, so that it's important from that perspective that you forge the right ties.
So it's like a right technology partner with right technology. If you are taking an initiative, failure rate is always well taken care. But by the way, just to appreciate one thing, whenever I've seen any safe express trucks, I don't know what you guys do. How come they are being well maintained? What you mean is there is an IoT in terms of maintaining the truck also? If that is the case, how you manage the cost? I'm sorry, again, it's a prompter question, but
no. So it's so we have a fleet of over 6,000 plus vehicles. They're outsourced vehicles. We don't. There's no capex spend by design, by business design.
So I'm sorry, I'm holding you. Are you incentivizing your drivers to clean the truck and keep it?
So these are through a network.
Because then only somebody will clean the truck, right?
Correct.
I myself is not cleaning my car till the time my manager will not say, man, why you are coming up with this such a
Right.
idea?
So we do our own branding on the vehicles. These are vendor vehicles, but they are dedicated fleet to us. They cannot do any market pickups. They're dedicated to us. We pay them, per route, and there is a penalty if they don't, deliver within the given time frame. So we basically run like a railway network or a flight network because we are into partial truckload business, which means that we will run our truck from Delhi to Agra, irrespective of whether we have material from Delhi to Agra, because we could have material coming from Agra to Delhi.
I understand.
So it just runs like that. It's a scheduled machine that runs across over 22,000 zip codes is what we service right now. We have the biggest network of pin codes in India that we service, and all these fleets are painted by our guys. But as you said, it's a problem. We are very conscious about our brand. So to do that, when we did the digitalization leg within a transshipment, our first mile and the last mile, we also brought in AI and ML capability. So as a part of the handheld devices, when we're doing the scanning, at the start of the scanning, when you're loading a vehicle, it will force you to take pictures of the vehicle. And when you're taking the picture of the vehicle from the right side and the left side, it actually figures out the success rate is pretty good. It's about 7 to 8%. It will tell you whether the logo is tampered or whether the vehicle logo, the whole thing is dirty or not. We wanted to do it. There was a desk that was doing it physically, scanning through the images. It just didn't make sense. How many desks can you run in an organization? So the other problem that we faced when we did that, so we were using the IBM Watson image recognition platform for that. We experimented with Google as well, and we got better rates with Watson. And then we localized that in the app, because then the issues we faced was that all this data, all the images, then go to the cloud, and that matching happens on the cloud, and that has to come back within a fraction of a second. And although Sify has a great network that they have provided us, but there are still latencies in the network. So we built that logic at the edge level. So so that logic is now in our in-house app that runs, and that ML engine to an extent is localized there, and it could give you a real-time insight
Great.
as to what is happening.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Kapil. Now I'll move to the GZ. So GZ is like, how many of you have heard about fan brand and USA fan? All of you are having a lot of great ideas. So thank you very much for responding, by the way, because I was just thinking, am I capable of awaking you or not? Because these guys are saying, man, key, wrap it up. People are waiting. I said, till the time you are not getting gist of having these senior folks here, and if you are not learning anything out of this evening, I think it will not be worth of spending time here, right? All of you have really come here all the way from different part of this NCR, and one of our guy who came from Bangalore, she was asking me that now Gurgaon traffic is becoming worse than Bangalore. Right? So we said, don't worry, we will be having the air taxi now. So now, GZ, question back to you. I was just thinking, what is so great with this fan? Today, Luminous is also having fan. Every company, what is that, Orpet, and a lot of people, they have started coming up into this industry. What is your thought in terms of distinguish your product, in terms of creating a brand? What you do as an IT leader in terms of supporting your business, so that if I go into this showroom, I have multiple brands, and my father will always choose which one? Usha. I have to tell there is a lot of other brand, choose that one, and there are a lot of discount. My father is ready to pay 100 rupees more for Usha. I don't know what is there in Usha, by the way. Okay, but now what exactly you are doing as an IT leader in terms of making father sons also getting sticky to the brand?
Yeah, the challenge is that even your grandson requires to really buy Usha. So that's my challenge to really keep rolling this. See, let me come what it is. Just like Kapil, I came from a technology organization. Why Usha picked me up from a technology organization is to have the digital transformation. Okay, so one of the biggest transformations that it is, you may be seeing that Usha is really famous for its electric fans and the sewing machines, and then they are into lot many other products like kitchen appliances, and then of course the home comfort. So there are quite a range of the products which are coming. As a business model, if you see, they were into organized trade. Most of the stuff which is going through a kind of a organized trade like a wholesaler or a big distributor. But if you really wanted to connect with the people who are using this, you hardly have the data at this point of the time. That's one of the biggest challenges. Okay, you have consumers, the consumers are using your products, and you want to connect with them to provide more services or the solutions. You don't have who the right guys are. That's one of the biggest questions. So the thing is that now you need to really understand whom are you connect with. So the first platform what we built was that the user experience UX. So we changed the completely the customer facing, like the websites or kind of mobile apps in such a way that so they can really find where the nearest store locator. You see that many of the retails are having this, and whether that store locator having found out you need one of them, is that available or not. So the thing is that you know that there's a store near MG Road which you have. That store is capable of selling something like Usha appliance, like a fan or something. You go there, but to your surprise, they say that it's out of stock. Then what's the really meaning of going there? So one is to really find it. So if I say that it looks so simple, how do you know that that particular kind of an appliance or an item where you are going to fetch it is available or not? See, it goes back almost like what he said is that FIFO systems and all. You need the whole supply chain of the inventory coming in. So how many of us, right from the bigger systems like ERP till the supply chain, I think it came in a sequence. Like he is doing the FIFO, he is doing the drones, and then he is doing the Safe Express. I'm the one who is really producing. So this is all in a chain what it is coming in. I need to have that information available at my fingertips so that I can really serve the customers, and then rather I can really delight them. That's one of the biggest challenges what I have. So to do this one, one we have done the customer journey and the customer UX part of it. While we have done, we have really strengthened the last mile. Okay, we have a retailers, huge number of retailers, some close to 1 lakh retailers throughout India through the pin codes what we have. And for all the retailers, we have certain kind of a long arm. These are the sales guys who are. For every one of them, we have really geo fenced. We have given them the mobiles, and then we define the route maps. It's like many other do. So this is what today's beat plan is. So tomorrow you do this kind of a thing. But after doing it and then getting some sort of an insight about the product movement and the customer who is procuring, then we found that there is quite a bit of inefficiencies in doing it. That's where we got that. Okay, this is where the first problem is that management has thrown it to me that you need to solve this problem. This is what you need to build. So while we are really working on it, what thought came to us that the efficiency of the bid plan, why would the same person go to different places when he is interacting with a kind of a location manager or a retail manager? Is he really servicing him? So we introduced from IT angle that chatbot. We know that what is that particular retailer is selling, which models, whether he is equipped with the right information or not. So he may not be remembering. He is doing a beat plan of something like 6 or 8 or 10 in a day. He won't remember that which retailer wanted what information. This chatbot is going, the moment you are going to a retailer, since you are geofenced, it understands that you are at ABC retailer, and it only shows him what is that kind of information you need to share with him, or what is that he seek from them. The chatbot keeps really giving him a lot of things, including a small clips of the brochure. He may not be understanding the brochure. Okay, and then if the chatbot is not able to really provide him much more information than what it is, then immediately it transferred to my call center. My call center takes over and gives that human kind of it. So this is one of the biggest changes what we brought. So while doing this one, what how my chatbots are able to do is that we have almost like 1.5 year old data where we have put it into kind of a big data platform, and there we are really running quite a bit of, I mean, I can't say big algorithms like what my friends are doing, but quite a bit of things what we are running to really understand optimization, what are the must sell models, which area is really having what models to going on. So I got lot of insights. This is what we have given from IT to business. So this is one of the transformational projects recently what we have. We are still in the journey. We are trying to really meet the customer demands much more than what.
Thank you very much, Gigi, for having this discussion. Only last question now to all of you. I'm on the other side. Sify is on the other side. You might have heard about Vikas presentation topic. What was the Vikas presentation topic? Any idea? Invisible or visible, something he was saying. So I think these panelists, they have already proved it, right? Nobody knows that along with that fan selling, so much of machines will be used to analyze the data, and that is being visible to what? The management is only seeing the outcome of IT rather than getting into this which application, what is the infrastructure. It's completely invisible. So what we are trying to achieve out of this panel discussion is, going forward, machineries, they will be completely invisible. Only the outcome will be visible to the audience, to the users, to the management. And now it is our time, how fast we can roll up our sleeves and get into that bandwagon. Hope you agree to this, right? So quickly, one question, if you can quickly answer that question. Sify and Nutanix, they were keep struggling when we are meeting CIOs like you. You have a lot of plans in your diary, and you have a very hectic day. I have all the respect for you, meeting 10 vendors and entertaining all those vendors with the hope that you will get something out of this meeting. How you plan your projects, and what is your idea in terms of having the right execution? Because I found it many times, project inception is always good, execution is the key for any project to get successful. And you being into this industry, and you're being to so many of successful project veteran, what is your thought and suggestion to our audience if they want to really get into this? What needs to be, anybody, if anybody one can answer, I think that will be good enough. I will leverage your gray hair if you can answer that.
No problem. See, you have to understand, whatever planning you do, you learn, you will always fail somewhere. Why I am telling this? We have a deploying project for many years. At no point of time we have seen that we could plan and execute the way we have planned. For that, there are two reasons. One reason is getting more insights of what we wanted. When we are trying to deploy any of the project, we learn and then we try to bring in something extra which is creating the problem. The next big reason is because of user adoption, we also fear that probably it may overkill them. These are the two reasons. But if you see 80% execution will be successful, 20% some corrections are error corrections or improvement, you can say. This is my point of view.
Thank you very much.
I just want to add something. In our organization, I take pride to say, like good old days, like 5-year plan in Adani, we have embarked on what is called as a strategic action plan. So we have a 5-year business plan where we have our long-term roadmap, to which we have aligned our technology and IT goals, people, process, and technology. And based on that, our focus has always been on how we prioritize these projects to take them up to meet the business goals and objectives. That is point number one. And so this is to answer your question on planning. How are we planning? So we are coming from top down, from macro to micro. And in the initiatives also, we are also focusing on those things which are directly attributable to enhancement of productivity or reduction in cost. For example, for our washery, we have implemented Splunk, a big data platform for asset performance management using machine learning. Probably we are the first company to have done in the coal sector. Regarding the deviations, yes, I agree with him on that. Technology being new, we have had failures, there have been slippages. So there are about, at least my experience, when we were trying the newer things rather than the traditional IT things, the failure rate was much higher. And but the moment it has stabilized and it has taken up, then it is much easier to release it subsequently and enhance it further.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Iyer.
So
Sagar, sorry.
I think agree to them to an extent, but in our case, because of the nature of business is getting so dynamic, so our plans are not really 5 years. It's more like a 2 year kind of a roadmap from a technology perspective. And again, when you're working with a lot of the new generation CEOs and MDs, and these folks they really don't work on a long term 12-month, 2 year, 5 year plans. And again, I think that's the need of the hour. So we do look at technology from a smaller gestation period in terms of say a 24-month kind of a plan in place, and then we look at key strategic projects that will complement the business. For example, in our case, we did a lot of firsts in the industry. We were the first to integrate with IBM Weather Channel to bring in weather data into our truck movement. We were the first to integrate with NIC for e-Waybill. So most of the companies are going through a JSP. We directly connect to the platform of the government. The reason was that our loads are so high that if my failover points are more, I am more prone to issues. So if my GSP's infra goes down, my application goes down. So my entire movement across India will stop. If my ASP's application goes down, I'm impacted. And if NIC goes down, then everyone's impacted. So in our case, by removing those two failover points, we directly got access to NIC. There's a lot of work that we had to do. We had to get ISO certified. We had to invest into an IBM API platform so we can monetize it. And then a lot of things that we did from a roadmap perspective were centered around building some new business enablers. For example, we got into a business of C2C. How do we bring a new product offering that is not there in the market in India? And how does technology play a role there? So what do we do from a technology platform perspective to enable that? So a lot of those projects were done with that intent. And I think overall failure rates, as he said, for old technologies, it's not really a problem nowadays. You really don't have failure rates. They're tried and tested. We really believe in a lot of planning. So from an IT standpoint, 40% time goes into planning, and then the remaining is execution. So because today technology is there to do whatever you really want to do. So it's a matter of putting the right plan in place and getting the right people to get it executed. So new technologies, we accept the failure rate because those are lessons learned that feed into your actual, product creation. So overall, I think again, what I've seen in the market, and again with some of the MNCs as well, a lot of them want to experiment. So only the the projects that really need to run the company go into a BAU mode, and you are running them from a larger strategic time frame, versus whatever you want to do new is more driven by market today rather than you deciding a strategy or a roadmap. It's the disruption that's happening. If Uber is there today or tomorrow, then how do you need to react? You need to either be prepared or you need to just change your business strategy. So a lot of it is happening because of all these enablers and new startups coming up. So you really can't really create a visionary map for 5 years or 6 years. That's our belief, and I think that's working out well for the company. So I think overall that is what my perspective is.
Thanks, Kapil. It's a great insight. Gigi, any thought on this?
Yeah, this is something like a new learning from me after joining Usha. So when I joined, they said that you give us the plan, roadmap for that. So the big roadmap what I made was that it's only 3 years. Okay, 3 years of this what it is. They say that no, 3 years is not this format where it is. It is required to go to a board. You give minimum 5 years plan, and that's what the format is. I said that I can't. So they were all laughing at me. This guy doesn't even understand what is this 5 year plan kind of a thing. So that's where we really pitched in and told that we do not know with these technology disruptions what is that you need to really do work. And the second thing where we have is that many of the IT plans can't be as an IT plan. I mean, I'm not really putting up an IT as a technology show in an organization. It has to deliver something. That means the driver part of it. So then what we said is that you give me what deliverables you want, how are you going to grow your business over 5 years, and then what are the drivers what you want. That's it. I'll make 5 years myself. So this is where the kind of a thing where we got it in. So this kind of a discussion of the boardroom which emerged finally is that I told that this is the plan what we are, and you need to really be with us when we are planning, both the finance community as well as the BU community. It's BU. Every business unit has their own kind of profit. Okay, P&L, what they are really doing. So everyone has to do that. Number one. Number two is that the execution part, the success mantra for me, what it was is that it is not the IT team along with my partners, whoever are implementing, is 30-40%, because I'm not developing anything, it's not coding anything. I don't require too big a thing. Mostly the solutions what I'm really bringing in and then fitting it and then tailoring it. So we wanted some 50% of the people from the business to work on the projects, and what we saw that we need to co-create it. So then you will have that kind of a buy-in. See, if you really go to a kind of a smaller suburban areas and all where the retailers are there, if my IT guys can go and say that this is a mobile app, you use it, they'll say that no. I mean, it is the only the sales channel guys have to go and convince them. So I need those hands, and I need to really do that. So the co-creation and then this alignment is something what I brought to make this successful. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible for me to really roll out in 1.5 years some 70,000 outlets. So that's what is the short thing where I think many people have their many leadership skills and then many kind of ways. I mean, this is what I have adapted to make.
Thanks, Gigi. Thanks a lot. If I have to summarize this discussion, I know all of you are very patient in terms of waiting for dinner and the drink. But let me conclude this after having such a nice discussion. And thank you very much for giving such a nice insight. So what I can conclude is, it is inevitable that change is going to happen. If you want to take the change, you want to get change or you want to drive the change, it's up to you. Failure is going to happen. I think it's my 20 years of a career, first time I could find in panel we are discussing more failure than successes, because failure teaches you where exactly you have to focus, and that was the great learning. Openly you were sharing about your failures, what is the success ratio, how we can have the macro to micro kind of a management, and then finally inclusion of the from the ground level to the management for success of any project. I think that is going to be a success mantra. And finally, two things: the right partner like Sify, the right technology, where really infrastructure is becoming invisible and IT is becoming visible. So if you have heard about Vikas, what we were talking about from Nutanix side is, you focus on business from the application side, infrastructure is Nutanix baby to handle. And partner like Sify will do all the transformation which you can think of in your premises, in your data centers, on cloud, on consumption based model. We are all geared up for any kind of a requirement. With this, I really thanks all of you. Over to.
So we have still 5 minutes. Thank you to the moderator to bring it on time.
Are you sure we have a 5 minutes?
Yeah, last 5 minutes. Any questions from the audience?
So question back to the guest now. Don't ask how many discount Usha can give to any one of us.
So I think we had an audience which was predominantly, I think, from the manufacturing, or maybe I think the industry was, I think, mining, possibly from your perspective. Let me try and see if we can get in some more perspectives from one or two other industries. So I'll need volunteers, maybe a few CIOs in this room, to share one or two of your own transformation experiences for the benefit of others. So I'll just need few volunteers. Maybe if I go to the first table, if there is a volunteer from that first table, and then probably we'll do a quick round robin with the other tables as well.
Hey, good evening. Myself, Munain Soparna, CIO Dr. Lal Pathler. As far as the disruption or maybe some new initiatives what we are doing on the basis of technology, though new age technology is a buzzword nowadays, and as far as Lal Pathler journeys are concerned, we are more than 60 years old company, and we have a very rich data bank as far as patients or so-called citizens are concerned, approx by 90 millions of records of a patient, of a citizens, and every day we are running or maybe serving 60,000 patients per day. As far as the business challenge are concerned, when we joined our organization, so-called we start our journey, the patient load was 3,000 in 2007, and now it is 60,000. And the beauty of my organization, or maybe be a diagnosis business are concerned, we have only 12 hours window, morning 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Means within these 12 hours, we have to give a report, 90% report back to the patient. That's the challenge, or could be I'm fortunate enough to take care of that particular thing, but we are growing 20% year on year. But as far as the compute and technologies are concerned, without technology, we can't generate, or we can't keep up our pace with the business growth story. Means every third to fourth year, my existing load become double. That's the business challenge could be. But as far as the disruption, or you can say it's a new adoption, what we are doing right now, we have a one of the KPI, so called turnaround time, and the patient reporting is one of the challenge for us. And right now, what we are doing, we are giving a one standard line to each and every patient that your report will be up and running by 6 p.m. Irrespective of, I can give to 2:30, I can give to 6:30 also. But with the help of new age technology, so-called AI and ML, and we have a very good data bank, we are coming up with the one KPI called ETR, and we follow airlines industry as a KPI, ETA, expected time of arrival, and we are following ETR, expected time of reporting. Means if you give a report sample at 7 a.m., we can give you an insight that your report will be up and running by 2:32 p.m. That's the project or disruptive project for this industry we are planning for. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I think excellent. So I think it's an excellent example from another industry. Do I have any volunteers from maybe the next table? I think before people warm up, I think I'll ask you, Ashok. You had shared with me a project which was very interesting, that how you are engaging with your, so Mr. Ashok Jade is from Shalimar Paints. So you had shared me a very interesting project which I feel is something which is interesting for probably all, is how is he using the social media to engage with his real consumers of his products. And his consumers of his products are paints. Okay, so the people, artisans and other people who come and paint at our home. So I thought that was a very interesting project. So Ashok, if you can just share 2 lines on that, I think that'll be interesting for all.
Yeah, so hi Ashok, good evening. So basically, two projects. So it was very transformation projects. One recent was, then another earlier one was. So one was a part of CSR initiatives, right, which we run on the social media platform. Where the Sanjay Gandhi camp, here slum, right, and we run the project over there. All the 20,000 plus houses we painted with the 12 universities, 3,000 people, and 7 days they were working over there. And this was a big campaign we did on social media. And entire data from social media, from all the 3 platforms, whether it is Twitter, whether it is the Facebook, or whether it is LinkedIn, has been captured into a database. Right? What are the sentiments are there, and how the brand is getting pursued to the people. And this entire analysis has been given to the management, that how the brand is pursued. This is one initiative we took through the social media platform. This was a total integration with our CRM. Basically, our CRM is a homegrown system. Another one major project we did was related to the influencer management. So if you look at to the paint industry, painters, contractor, and architect are the influencer of our project. Whether generally people go by their recommendation, they influence the decisions of the customer. We were having around 30,000 painters, but none of them was on the IT platform. And then whatever the campaign we run from them was a manual one. So whether it is a connect with them, whether we give the incentive to them, or whether we do any loyalty management, was through the dealer channel. And if you look at to the painter which came to your home, you must have seen that they are very low educated community. So they don't know the technology. If you know the technology, if you don't know the technology. So for example, we run some any campaign to them. So whenever you sell the one paint of the 20 liters, you get a 200 rupees. So how to reach this 200 rupees to them? So this 200 rupees used to reach them through the dealer, and knowingly or unknowingly, right? There was the leakages. Sometime knowingly dealer used to pass only 100 rupees, and 100 rupees was with them. Now what we did a multi-channel integrated system for them. So either they can come through the mobile app, they can come through the SMS, or they can come to the call center or through the chatbots. They connect to us, right? And they can directly claim their secondary sale, tertiary sale to company, and the amount is directly credited to their account, right? So now there are the multiple benefits. One is leakages has drastically came down. It is directly getting to them. 2 days back only, you can go on my LinkedIn profile, and I have posted a graph for the last 6 weeks, right? First week we started this year, this program, and the last 2 weeks we have seen a 20% growth in our sale, right? Because now they are confident that they are getting direct money in their account. So this is a one very new project. Now the step ahead to this one, now because now 20,000 painters has been registered in a 10 days time, right? Now we are running for them. These are low educated community. Now we have an entire database. Now we are collecting their family database, and the painter whose any son or daughter scores more than 60%, entire education expenses will be borne by the company.
I think we should clap. It's a very, very great social initiative. Yeah.
Now this is the pure hand holding of the IT plus the actual business function. So many functions were involved. So IT was there, sales was there, marketing was there, and this totally joined the campaign, and then IT enabled them. At the same time, sales did the push of that, then marketing did a well campaign of this one, and this has happened through the IT system. And now coming to this gentleman was asking about the project, I was supposed to say, right? There are the different phases of the project. So to make any project successful, we generally do the 3 things. So one principle in ourselves we use, that start early, fail early, and learn early.
Thank you very much.
Right. So with this principle we do run our all projects. Once project is started, 3 major things are very important for us, which we evaluate to start any projects. One, we convince ourselves initially you have to take the baby step. Although the big bang attracts you, but we say strictly avoid big bang. Initially you do the big step. We do ensure that we have a right partners for us, because our most of the operation is outsourced. We say the IT team has to align more to the business than doing the hands-on job. So we identify the right partner. And third is we make sure including partner and our team has a right skill available. We don't hesitate to tell the partner also, if we need this skill, if you don't have this skill, you please wait for this, but then we need a skill. So I think these 3 steps make sure that our all IT projects are very successful.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Ashok.
Thank you, Mr.
One announcement. I'm sorry. So there is one whiteboard there. I don't know how many of you have seen these red hearts. So there is a CSR initiative out of this event. If you will put your signature, for one signature there will be some dollars, some INR, which will be going to the community, which will be used for study and welfare of the students. Please take out time and have your signature there.